I don't know about you, but there is nothing worse than a liar. There's no worse attribute in humans than when they are deceptive or fraudulent. In fact, the one thing that could fix the entire world would be honesty. It's dishonesty that seems to cause every issue in the world. Broke up with a girlfriend or boyfriend? Well, most likely one of you lied. Lying is disgusting, and when you catch someone in one and then they go through a song and dance to try and get away with it, it brings out some hard truths about liars. One, that they love themselves. They're all about themselves and them alone. Two, that they're useless. I mean, why would you continue on with that kind of person? And three, they're cowards. Afraid of what others might think, afraid to look stupid, and anyone afraid of the truth is a coward. I mean, I don't mind if you and I have different beliefs. In fact, I enjoy it. It opens up a discussion which helps me shape my own beliefs. Believe we went to the moon? Okay, you can believe that. I don't. We can still coexist. You can be my roommate or even my best friend. But lie to me. Why? And why lie? Either answer is fine for us to coexist. But a lie? I hate liars. So I will now point out two of them, and if you don't like to see blatant lies and blatant liars, then end this video now. If, however, you like to see liars blatantly exposed, stay tuned, everyone. Thanks for watching. This is Jeranism.
Guidance is internal.
Ignition sequence start.
3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. 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 Because it looks so fake.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jaren from Jeranism, back with a video for you today. Time to call out some liars. It's a bittersweet situation because it's terrible to find blatant liars, but at the same time, it clearly divides the aisle for me of who I watch, who I listen to, or who I pay attention to at all. And today, that aisle has clearly been drawn for me. I have unsubscribed from the non-Sequitur show because the hosts are both clearly liars, with no regard for truth, and they announced recently that my recent debate with Red was their #1 show of all time, so I hope this video causes a little damage to their sub count, but I also do believe that people can believe whatever they want, they can watch whatever show they want, so at the very least, they have lost one viewer, me. Let me show you the nonsense, and I can take a lot. I can take name-calling, model-pushing, presupposition, begging the question, appeal to authority, perspective omitting, reality denial. That's for you, Nathan. But lying? That's where the line is drawn. Because nothing can come from any dealings with liars but confusion, misdirection, misunderstanding, and ultimately a diversion from the truth. Liars wreck the world. They wreck relationships, they wreck contracts, they wreck friendships, they wreck news, they wreck politics, they wrecked the democracy, they wrecked history, they wrecked spirituality, they wrecked science, and so we call them out. This started months ago with a conversation I had on Skype with liar host #1, Kyle Curtis, who will now, going forward, be named Lyle Curtis. It was a private conversation which would have remained so until, well, someone lies. So Kyle and I were chatting on Skype. As you can see here, I said, 1 second, I'm preparing a 2-minute video for you. I was making him a little video. So I made the video and I came back and said, if you have 5 or 6 minutes, consider this a personality test. He said, I do indeed. And then he watched the video and said, granted, that is sketchy. In reference to my video, which was basically showing the so-called car in space, courtesy of Elon Musk. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. And the reason I was talking to Kyle even in the first place was because when I was on their show and I was having a conversation with both them about the rice experiment, Kyle seemed very open to it, that he was willing to test it, he was willing to try it, while Steve was completely as closed off as one can get, and this person's supposed to be scientific, just claiming that it can't possibly happen, there's no way, and without ever doing the test himself, he just dismisses it because that's what scientists do. If it's not within what they believe and what their paradigm is, well, they dismiss it. And that's why I was impressed by Kyle. So, hey, here's this guy on this science show saying he was going to try that and was actually kind of siding with me in a discussion with Steve when Steve was trying to say that love didn't exist or something. I don't even know. It was nonsense. And then when he was actually honest enough to say, granted, that is sketchy, I was like, wow. So I said, That's a big admission right there. I like you. I don't mind having different beliefs or opinions than other people. In fact, I like it. But if I sent that to 10 Globers right now, like Steve, for example, or Red, the response would have been that I'm a fucking idiot. So maybe you might see why I have the opinions that I do. If people can't just look at evidence and at least say what you did, I am fearful for the future. He replies, well, I don't believe the earth is flat. I don't believe we went to the moon. And I think you have to be pretty disingenuous to look at that car in space and say it doesn't look fake as fuck. Even though I don't think I have to, let's read that line again. While I don't believe the earth is flat, period. I don't believe we went to the moon. And I think you have to be pretty disingenuous to look at that car in space and say it doesn't look fake as fuck. I come back and I give him a chance to realize what he wrote. I said, wait, I read that wrong. Read what you wrote again. I think you made a mistake. You just said you don't believe we went to the moon. His reply, I don't. The footage on that looks ridiculous. I think we were in a race with Russia, height of Cold War. We made a decision to make sure we came out on top. And then I reply, wow, well, you certainly are not like the others. You made my day. It's rare to find people who trust and back science who can say what you just said. I think people have lost the ability to recognize that because science is useful and the greatest thing man has ever done by far, but they forget that men are still at the helm. That I believe in science like my computer, my iPhone, my microwave and lasers and my car because I don't need to read a peer-reviewed paper to see that it does work and is true. The science that cannot be tested, that cannot be touched, is an open door for fraud. Theoretical physics is frightening. It allows loads of nonsense. Like scientific consensus gets pushed around as meaning things are true. Okay, in most areas I will agree. But scientific consensus says a teaspoon of neutron star weighs 24 billion pounds. I can call bullshit and will call bullshit to anyone who says that is true. It isn't true. It may be needed in their universe model and their universe math, but by no means is a teaspoon of anything that heavy. The thought of it is stupid. A teaspoon of titanium weighs 1 ounce. Kyle responds, I'm in full agreement. It's healthy to be skeptical. My outlook on life is that we are all in this together, and we are all we've got. I can listen to you and learn something as I just did, and still be who I am at my core. I don't expect my views to be imparted on you, and I think that's what makes life so beautiful. We are all these radically different beings just trying to figure it all out. And I reply, Amen. Now, this is how you get a video made about you calling you a liar. Because could anyone take that conversation and thought anything other than this man does not think we landed on the moon? Now, granted, this is the host of a science show, and that's okay, because he's given me new hope for these so-called scientifical circles. He may not feel like mentioning it right yet, his belief in the hoax of the moon landings, and I understand that. But I figure somebody like that, if ever was asked about it, would definitely say his true beliefs. So then the first sign of problems is when Lyle made this cameo appearance in a very popular, sponsored by Brilliant.org, 20 questions Flat Earthers can't answer, on the channel Holy Kool-Aid, and he had this to say. Imagine my shock.
Did you know there are over 500 people from 38 countries who have been to space? And that there's 72 different government space agencies, 31 private spaceflight companies, and 24 private endeavors, all of which are building rovers, landers, and probes? Now this represents tens, if not hundreds of thousands of employees. NASA alone has 17,000. And they're all building equipment to meticulous specification based on universally applicable scientific principles. And this equipment has to be able to travel at mind-numbing speeds. It has to be able to sustain radiation and fluctuations in temperature. On top of that, it has to remain airtight. Are all of them in on it? And if so, how many of them can keep a secret? And if not, how are those at the top managing to fool every single one of their employees?
Yeah, I know. Well, then I had issues with why would somebody who just said to me that NASA had faked the moon landings gone on to ask such a question of people? But honestly, it could have been that he was reading the question. I didn't know. So I knew eventually I'd be asking Lyle publicly his belief about the moon landing. Now, we fast forward a little bit to just a few weeks ago. Steve McRae, who is lying host number 2, who I will now refer to for all times as Deceive McRae. He was messaging me during Globebusters crying because he had been blocked in my chat. That's fine. I told him I'd unblock him, and I did. Then he said he wanted a wrench. I said, no, dude. I didn't find your co-host very honest, so I don't feel like you deserve a wrench. So let's look at that conversation and the level of total and complete bullshit that comes from these two hosts who lie and care about the truth about as much as I care about season 72 of American Idol. And this is what I mean when I call people who lie useless. This conversation with Deceive McRae is useless. It's pathetic. It is not the kind of conversation I have time for. Life's too short for liars and idiots like Deceive McRae. So that conversation on Skype begins, I'm not giving you a wrench right now. I'd have to review the chat. I already have caught your co-host telling me he doesn't believe in the moon landing, followed by him doing a video asking us how is it possible that space agencies could be faking things. Deceive says, Lyle believes we went to the moon. I said, I have a Skype message. He does not. Deceive says, I read what he wrote. He never said he didn't believe we went to the moon. I said, or he lied and told me he does not. What? I got to check. If you're right, then you can have a wrench. Because if I was wrong about that, I'm like, what? I'm sure he said exactly those words. Deceive says, I know I am right. He showed me the dialogue between you, and I was surprised you took it to mean it that way. Remember this. Deceive says he's surprised that I took it to mean it that way. Then Deceive says, and he blocked me and Steve McRae again, for no reason. I merely said we all block trolls, but blocking people for asking questions kills a channel. I don't like people being unfair in chats, especially mods. But he doesn't mind lying, that's obvious. Then I say, who blocked you? Deceive says, we may not agree, but I am always fair. Then he gives the name of the person who blocked him, which more power to that person. Keep doing what you're doing. I thank all my moderators. He says, if you can unblock me again, verify what I just told you. Kyle 100% knows we went to the moon. He said maybe he didn't test works or you unhid me. It was me. I went and unblocked him. So then I give him the image. And I said, how am I supposed to take that? Because remember, Steve just said, I don't know how you took it that way. I said, how can I take you seriously or call you honest when you pretend that someone should take something like this differently? So I just turned the image on, and you can go back like 3 seconds, and you'll see it's the exact same image that I showed to Deceive. Well, I didn't show it to Deceive. I showed it to the person that's named Deceive because he's a liar. I then said, I even asked him after. I try and get clarity on his statement. Deceive says, and he laughed at it the other day with me. So what does that mean? Okay. I said, and he confirms. So how should I have taken this, Deceive? I asked him. He said, I don't. Deceive says, but I assure you, he believes we went to the moon. Ask him. Then I say, oh, okay. How dare I take people for their word? Yeah, many people weren't aware of this, that you actually have multiple times. It's a new rule that you get multiple chances to answer questions. So you can, answer the first, second, third, or 40th time. As long as you eventually you're truthful, well, that's what counts, I guess, in these guys' crazy world of spinning space rocks where infinity exists and where space never ends and where we see back in time and the length contracts. And, I mean, come on, it's a mathematical nonsense presupposition. The sun can be 3 million miles wide, 330 million miles away with a 500,000 mile distant moon that's 5,000 miles across. And just that is one of the infinite numerical distances that I can place on the sun and moon, and there would not be any observed change at all from Earth. Come on. And people would say, well, but gravity will be different. Oh, really? Would it be different? Because I can just change the mass of the sun. Are you out there checking it? Who's checking the mass of the sun? I'll just change the mass of the Earth. I can change it to whatever I want. I'll send Ronnie and Jason out to their shed. They can absolutely confirm it with their tongues and some torsion balls, no telescope. But then we have a new mass of the Earth and a new mass of the sun, and it all balances. It's all mathematics, and there's no observations that change. And everybody believes it because Deceive told us so. Okay, now back to the Skype discussion. Sorry, I took one of the side roads. This is classic baller right here. So now ask him, what was wrong with the first and second time? Shaking my head. How is this statement not 100% false? You said, read what he wrote. He never said he didn't believe we went to the moon. End quote. Deceive says, if I am wrong, I give you my word. I will, on my or your channel, admit it. Admit I was wrong on this, and Kyle does not believe we went to the moon. Fair? You can even screen cap that. I say, so you are saying, if he stated to me in a private chat that if you call him out in public and he backtracks, that means that he believes it? Of course he doesn't want your side to know his real belief. The only reason I will have to bring this out is because he's doing videos acting like our belief is insane when he has the same belief. I can't respect people like that. Science shaming. It is why people believe in stupid shit. Like a teaspoon of neutron star weighing 22 billion pounds. Like you, Deceive, you believe that. Sad. Then Deceive says something about the debate. Then he says, if he didn't want me to know, why did he send me that chat log and laugh about it when it happened? How do you think I knew about it, Jaren? His sarcasm is lost upon me too, so I don't fault it being lost on you as well. But he clearly showed it to me to laugh about it. So hold on a second, Deceive. Didn't you just say earlier that you don't know how I could take it in another way, but now you said you don't fault me for his sarcasm being lost on me? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Deceive McRae, a flat-out, in-your-face, ridiculous liar.
Hi, liar!
I mean, what else do you expect me to call him? I then say, I cannot imagine how anyone can say what you are saying. It is a sad, sad thing. And I'm dead serious when I say life is too short to deal with pieces of crap like this. It's just not necessary. It shouldn't be part of our lives. Why? What a waste of space and a waste of hearing and listening and comprehension and understanding. I mean, you're trying to figure out what is going on with these liars. So then I said, he showed you this too, and it's the next image. Of course, you can go back and see that in the video. It's the same thing. You can match it up. Didn't take anything out. Then he says, he showed me the same thing you did. I have it in my IMs. Now, also note this. He showed me the same thing you did. He just said that. It'll come into play here shortly. Now, everybody look and watch Deceive go here. It's pretty classic. Then he says, yes, like I said, I don't get it either. Wait a second. Earlier you told me you couldn't see how I took it to mean that he didn't think that we went to the moon. Then you changed it up and said, I can kind of understand. Now, you don't even get it. Okay, great. It drives me nuts trying to figure out when people are not direct or hard to tell. No, it's not hard to figure out when somebody says, I don't think we went to the moon. And then the other person says, time out, I think you misspoke there. You just said you didn't think we went to the moon. Then the person says, I don't. That the Russians, that we wanted to beat the Russians in the Cold War, so we faked it. What? This is not tough to figure out. When humans deal with each other in that way, it is known somebody's true opinion. You don't need to worry about it. Well, not in this case, not with, Lyle and Deceive. Next he says, but I showed you. He told me about it. He said it was sarcasm as I told you it was because he told me about when it happened and was laughing about it. 3, it is absurd to hold me responsible for his comments. No, I don't hold you responsible for his comments. I hold you responsible for your comments. I said, call it whatever you want. Read the conversation again. If you don't see that either he lied straight up to me or is lying to you, and you are defending him in any way, calling what was a direct answer to my question twice sarcasm is absolutely ridiculous. The entire story you have told me makes no sense.
You fucking crazy, man. You sound insane. Do you realize that? You should be medicated.
I mean, talk about a bag of garbage. Okay, so the only thing left to do was ask Lyle what his belief in the moon landings was. So I was going to ask at the debate, but never had a chance. But then tonight, on the Flat Earth Roast, I see someone in chat saying something, and Deceive gives an email address. So I said, perfect. I emailed Deceive and said simply, please ask Lyle whether he believes in the moon landing or not. So I flipped back over to the show, and I started thinking, I wonder how Deceive is going to tell Lyle ahead of time what the question is or how to answer it. I just was interested in watching. Let's watch together.
Looks like this flat earth thing, which any sane person would have thought was an incredibly poor and probably short-lived joke, is still going on.
Now, watch carefully here. This is when I sent Deceive McRae the email just before this, and then I was watching thinking he'll probably have to tell Lyle somehow. Well, sure enough, you see right here that Deceive is reading my email, and now he's thinking, how are we going to do this? So what does he do? He's got to somehow tell Lyle, right? So he's going to start typing to Lyle here, and then you're going to see Lyle get some sort of message, and he starts to read. At first he's like, huh? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, wait, we have to... Okay, you're going to ask me whether or not I believe in the moon. All right, I got to think of how I'm going to answer this. Now Lyle's thinking. The whole time they're not listening to this idiot that makes these stupid dog videos. Who would? It's nonsense. Now you may be asking, how do I know that that's what they're talking about back and forth and that's what they're thinking about? Well, they're not thinking about this stupid movie because they don't realize that it's ending right here, but you're about to see how I know that's what they were talking about. Let's watch.
video.
Okay, all right. We can't see the video, so
I'm watching the outside chat.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I just think that was like way over exaggerated for size. Just to critique Sai a little bit.
Yeah, I think that he's overestimating them.
Yeah, I think that's too much development.
Now, honestly, there's only one way that these guys could look like bigger dirtballs in my mind. What if Lyle was the one who brought it up? I emailed Deceive, and then Lyle would bring it up? What sense would that make, right? Let's see if that took place. That would certainly prove my theory of them chatting back and forth there for that video length. Let's see what happens.
Your brain's already that big.
It's perspective.
I could not believe that jeranism did not. Do you really think he didn't know the difference between flirspective and plurspective? How long has he been doing this, and he didn't know?
Oh yeah,
He's seen enough of Sly's videos to know what that meant.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Steve, I believe that you have a situation that you need to address. Did you say?
Yeah, I have a question to ask you, Kyle.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You're the situation he needs
You're
to
the situation.
Oh, you don't know what he's going to ask you, Lyle? Oh, my goodness. I mean, how obvious are these fools? Put it in the books. Another one. Confirmed. Flat out. Liar.
Liar.
Inconceivable!
But he still has a chance to tell the truth. Let's see what he does. I always have faith in liars. Come on.
Uh-oh. I'm ready.
Okay. What are your beliefs? Do you not believe?
Well, I believe that people should mainly be good to one another. I believe that people at their core are decent. Is that what you mean?
Not what I'm going with it. Nope. Do you or do you not believe that we went to the moon? Go.
Of course not.
There we go. Yay! Wait,
what? Is he actually going to step up? Is he not going to be a coward? Do I have to take it all back?
Boy.
Welcome everybody to the roast of Kyle Curtis. Yes. We're going to begin.
No, there's a lesson to be learned here. Now, when I say something like, "Of course not," and I have this face, what does this indicate to you?
Are you asking me to be a Kyle translator?
Sarcasm?
Thank you.
Oh, hey! You have one person that gets it.
I wasn't looking at it.
No, I mean, I got it, but...
A guy in the background right now just said, I wasn't looking at him, so... Right. You wouldn't know that he was being sarcastic if you weren't looking at him. Kind of like I wasn't looking at him the 2 times he told me in a Skype chat. Now watch this idiot liar, Deceive McRae, go off on, oh, flat earthers don't get sarcasm.
I mean, you suck like you've never sucked before.
You know.
I wasn't looking at his face.
The
He had
flat
the
earthers don't
screen with his crotch sending to me.
This is
don't understand sarcasm.
Whenever Kyle has the flat Earth shill money on his face.
This is in reference to people asking Steve to ask me about a conversation that I had with jeranism, in which, actually, if you follow Russian vids, I actually posted the response from the Skype chat where he asked me. I said no.
Whatever you say, coward. I did not ask you about the moon landing, but you told me because it's your real belief, and right now you just had to clam up because Daddy Deceive told you better fall in line.
And then I posted the emoji rolling its eyes.
Liar!
Unbelievable. With an emoji rolling his eyes, show me that. Where did that go into the conversation when I was asking you if you were serious? When you were telling me about Russia? And you know, where is the rolling the eyes? Deceive said earlier that he saw the same thing that I showed him. I didn't have any rolling the eyes emoji in mine. You guys are pathetic, lying clowns.
I guess he took that as me seriously saying that I don't think we went to the moon.
Actually, Lyle, it wasn't so much the part of the rolling eyes emoji, which doesn't exist in anybody's Skype feed. I'm positive of that. It's when I said, wait, I read that wrong. Read what you wrote again. I think you made a mistake. You said you don't believe we went to the moon. When you said, I don't, that's when I believed that you really didn't think that we went to the moon. Like any other human being and not a piece of shit scumbag would think the same thing I did. So guess who's the piece of shit scumbag in this situation? I'll give you one hint. Lyle Curtis.
Yeah, and I saw the actual dialogue. each comment had the emoji with the old, liar! Rolling the eyes like
liar.
Of course, by each he means none. It didn't exist. It never happened. Look at these lying sacks of shit. The sad thing is you got to feel bad for Lyle because he actually doesn't believe that we went to the moon. And watch the science shaming that goes on right here. Watch this, and you'll understand the entire lie that we're all stuck under. Watch this.
Yeah, okay.
Sarcasm is a thing with me. Like, I do it all the time, and I don't think that I've gone on record. Now, I have crazy conspiracy theories. I believe, my whole thing with the Sphinx and all that. I'm not trying to steer away from controversy, but I think you guys would have heard about by now if I didn't think we went to the moon. So
Liar!
I'm not sure why that's a thing, but I hope it's not a thing now.
Can we get that clear? I mean, is that clarified for the flat earthers? Kyle believes we actually went to the moon. Everybody in here believes we went to the moon. Anybody that has an IQ over 12 believes they went to the moon. Okay,
Right.
So we're done with that.
Yeah. Sarcasm, folks.
Oh, that was sarcasm too. I keep forgetting they don't understand these concepts.
And now, last but not least,
I don't understand a lot of concepts. I don't get them. I do understand the concept that you and your little boyfriend are pieces of shit. I understand that concept quite well. I don't need any help. Thank you very much for making it very clear. I mean, what an eye-opener this ended up being. Lyle is a coward, and Daddy Deceive is a total fool. Imagine the stupidity to make a claim like only people with an IQ under 12 think the moon landing was a hoax, when there's PhDs at always.com saying it's a hoax. Not that they believe it's a hoax, that they know it's a hoax, because it was. It's the biggest lie of all time, but the easiest to see. Look at the screen now. Look at what that dim-wit, scientism-pushing, men-loving, hero-worshipping bullshit artist believes in. See that? He thinks this landed on the moon. And then it took off with people inside it. Look at it. Think of our rockets. And then this paper-mache Lincoln Logs meets pickup sticks flew back to Earth because the government said so. You're such a fool, leading people down a path of nonsense. Religitards at their absolute worst. I'll believe that Jesus walked on water before I ever believe the miracles that you believe in. Like we went to the moon. I'll believe Jesus turned water into wine before I ever think that you can see 100 trillion miles away. I mean, I'll believe that Jonah was in a whale before I believe that we have a remote control car on Mars. Man can't go to the frickin' moon just because your heroes say so. Wake up. And way to go, Kyle. Way to be a pussy. Or a liar. You're one or the other, and this is a fact. Either you're a liar or you're a pussy. One or the other. Period. Can't be anything else. You lied to my face, or you're a pussy and won't stand up for yourself. One of those is true. Way to show people they can stand up for their beliefs. I'm pretty sure you would have heard if I didn't think we went to the moon. Yeah, you don't think we went to the moon. It's clear in our conversation. But in front of your boys, look at you clam up like a little pussy. Unbelievable. Where else do you have beliefs that you're not allowed to question? That you have to believe a certain way? Sounds a lot like a religion, huh? The religion of scientism. In your show intro, you say something that's all triggered about people using the word scientism incorrectly. Well, guys, this is it being used correctly. Do you see what's happening here? Number one, Lyle is a coward. Straight up. Afraid of being called stupid, afraid of losing his little hosting position on his little show, whatever the reason, I'm the one lied to, I'll call him a coward. Period. The other thing is there any question as to why all scientists believe the same thing? That all of them have to fall in line, you have to believe in evolution, you have to believe in these fundamental facts? Well, it's because of shit like this. It's because of people like Deceive McRae, a bag of garbage, a lying scumbag, period. You don't lie to people, you don't be dirtbags. These two, dirtbags. Liar, liar. So, I got nothing else to say. Anybody who watches these guys, at least you know you're dealing with liars now. That's fine by me. I will not be watching anymore. Waste of time, waste of space, and I feel bad that I gave them any views at all, even with this video, but I also don't care. Go watch them all you want. If this gives them more people, that's even a more sign of the world that people look up to liars and think that that's pretty cool. Me, I think it's dirtbag, period. And I also figure while I'm here and might as well get it done now, let's go ahead and listen to Deceive when he made his little cameo on the 20 things we're going to pretend flat earthers can't answer even though they can. Let's listen up. And let's be honest here, at least Lyle didn't look like he was reading.
You say that the live footage of astronauts is fake because you can't see stars. But have you ever taken a picture or video of the night sky only to realize that your camera's sensor just isn't sensitive enough to capture these dim balls of light without increasing exposure time? Did you ever notice that it's daytime? The freaking sun is out! Of course you can't see other stars.
Holy smokes, look at Deceive. The only thing missing is basically his finger underneath each word. I hate to use Neil as a source, but then again, in this case, he's right, and Deceive is a fool. Listen carefully here.
You don't see stars in the daytime on Earth, not because they're not there, but because the atmosphere is aglow with scattered light from the sun. If you take away the atmosphere, the sun will still be there, but the sky goes dark. That's what the folks get when they go to the edge of the atmosphere, and they're calling that the edge of space. But when you get to the edge of the atmosphere is no longer between you and the rest of the universe, and the stars reveal themselves just as they would at night.
Ever notice that it's daytime? The freaking sun is out! Of course you can't see other stars.
If you're there in the daytime of the moon, you see a full night sky of stars, even with the sun in the sky as well.
Ever notice that it's daytime? The freaking sun is out! Of course you can't see other stars.
Mr. Deceive, can you please tell me some more lies? Tell me how real this is. Yeah, tell me how real it is. It's so real, I better believe in it. I better believe that's so real. The liar's telling me it's real. The same guy who tells me we can go to the moon. Look at that. Look at what Deceive McRae believes in. And speaking of that, I do have a job for you. It's a place where many liars go, and they like to read off screens because they're not smart enough to have anything in their head. Let's see what that wonderful job, the next job on Deceive McRae's list is. Here you go. Take after Kate Rubins, another dirtbag liar.
Hello from the International Space Station. I'm Kate Rubins, a Mission X ambassador.
And I'm reading the screen in front of me with the proficiency of a third grader.
Training to be an astronaut is much like preparing to be healthy and successful in life. This means learning about topics that interest you, studying hard in school, and making healthy choices.
Yep, Steve, that's definitely your calling. I mean, join the rest of the scumbag liars. Well, goodbye, liars. Moving on. I'd like to say it's been fun, but it hasn't. It's been a waste of time. Kyle, you ever want to stand up for yourself? Let me know. It's a good group over here. People need to stop being afraid of the big bad deception machine. So everyone else, do your own research, because when you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. Unless, of course, Deceive tells you otherwise. Till next time, this has been Jeranism.